Hi, welcome to the Because He Remembers Me podcast. This is episode number 23, and I'm Jess Howe. I'd like to share with you about an accident that never happened today. Yesterday, I was washing the dishes, and I turned off the water and walked into the garage. When I got there, I found my son holding a handsaw. He wasn't just holding the handsaw, he was using the handsaw. Had a long stick that he was hoping to convert into a sword because that's what boys do, and was trying to saw off a little nub of this stick. Problem being that he was holding the stick both between his legs and with his hand below the saw that he was using his other hand. I invited him to discontinue that practice, realizing how unsafe it was for him. And lest you think I'm a poor parent, child, for this child, nothing is out of reach. Nothing is child-proof. The best I can do with this child is to try and teach him wisdom and truth because he can get through anything. So as I encouraged him to choose a safer activity, which he was not happy about, by the way, I realized that I had no reason to be in the garage. I looked around. I wasn't carrying anything into the garage. I looked back into the kitchen. I wasn't trying to get anything out of the garage. I was there for no other reason, for no physical thought of my own. I was just there in time to prevent this accident from happening. Now, fast forward to today. I was mowing the lawn, and that same son had had kind of a difficult day. And I thought, well, I should just go check on him, just see how he was doing. He was in the garage doing the same thing again. And I once again gave him a cease and desist order. I was nice about it, but as I continued to mow the lawn, I had the thought, I should probably go and tell him those stories about how I felt like the spirit had prompted me to help him to be protected. And I walked back over to the garage, and guess what he was doing? Again, like I said, there is no childproofing with this particular child. If you haven't had one like this, you probably won't understand. But those who have one like this, that can get into everything and escape anything, no, they know. You feel me, right? You understand. I did invite him out to a bench that we have in front of our house. And we sat and we talked, and I explained to him what had happened, those experiences that I had had. And I said, "What do you think that is?" And he said, "It was probably the spirit, right?" Yes, yes, it was the spirit, and I can't claim either of those experiences. And I said, Heavenly Father is trying to protect you. He is trying to protect you more than you are trying to protect you. You also need to try to protect you. So please do not get the handsaw again. Please leave it where it is. And do not attempt to saw something without your dad to help you. Because let's be honest, like I probably would also saw my hand off. I tried to teach him to use whittling tools once. Yeah, you don't need that story. So I thought in this experience of Nephi, I thought about how he returned after trying to get the plates, after trying to pay for the plates, and still being chased off by Laban, and now having, like, I don't know, like a bounty on his head, right? That he was going back to do the job again. And I thought about how many times parenthood is like this. Like, we got a job to do. Nobody knows what we're doing. And there's maybe a bounty on our head. Maybe our kids would like to see some dollar signs instead of our attached heads some days. At least I feel that way. Maybe you don't have maybe you got this under control. I don't always have this under control. But I thought of this verse and it said, "And I was led by the Spirit, not knowing beforehand the things which I should do." I felt this way. I didn't even know. I didn't even know that I was following the Spirit. I thought I was just following the whims of my own brain. I'd heard a quote from the Follow Him podcast. If you don't listen to it, please listen to it, where they were talking about the Spirit. And I don't even know who they were quoting, but they said, how does a fish know it's in water? Well, it knows it's in water when it's no longer in water. Meaning that we don't realize what's constantly around us, and that's kind of what the Spirit is like, is that we have it a lot more than we realize as baptized and confirmed members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So when I felt this, I realized that these things that happened were beyond my control, that I could not take credit for them, but also that the Lord was mindful of me and He was mindful of my son. And further, that He was anxious and ready to protect my son. And maybe if He's ready to do that, as long as I'm trying, maybe I'm not going to screw him up too bad. Maybe. I felt the Lord's hand in my life today. This time through limbs, appendages, digits that are still attached. I hope you felt His hand in your life today. He said, "Seek me diligently, and ye shall find me." I know that's true. It has been true for me, and it can be true for you as you seek Him. So until next time, happy seeking.